Welcome in, everybody, whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, or around the world. This is Coast to Coast, and of course, PSG and me. Let's go.
That's you know what? The best parts of the show here are here. Obviously, Stat Guy and Jay have other commitments. Smoking a sausage, or no, he's smoking some meat. Let's just leave it like
No, that
that.
seems right.
Just like them Cowboys,
Yeah, that's right.
just smoking some sausage there. But you know what? It's going to be a fun show. It's the Thanksgiving show. You know what I
That's
mean?
right.
So, where you don't like turkey, but I actually like eating turkey. I don't mind it at all. In fact, I like to try to get the biggest turkeys we can so that we can have the most left over. So,
Yeah, so I mean, like I appreciate the leftovers, but that's why, like, if I make a ribeye, I still have leftovers.
well, if it depends on how big the ribeye is. Now, I happened to, like I said, I went to the store one time, and they brought in a new butcher into the
Okay,
Acme, which is our local store here,
I got
and
you.
and he had like a 2-inch cut T-bone, and
Okay,
I have also a lobster tail that's like a 16-ounce lobster tail, so
all
like
right.
I could really go that route if I wanted to, but I want the
Yeah.
turkey. I want the turkey.
Hmm. I like turkey with enough gravy.
Well, you put some gravy on there, you put some cranberry sauce, especially after Thanksgiving. All the cranberry sauce goes on sale because nobody's going to eat it again until next year. And I like getting like 20 cans of it because there's nothing better than Ocean Spray cranberry sauce. If you
Okay.
think that you're going to go regular cranberry sauce, like real, actual cranberry sauce, it's
You
not as
like it
good.
to slide out looking like the can?
Exactly. Exactly.
That's awesome.
In fact, I could almost pull up what here. Yeah, we had we've been doing little bits here at Dolan's. We call it Hoagie Heights, and it's a spoof on New Heights. Obviously,
Yeah.
we're talking about the uh, the Kelsey family in general,
Mm.
and that was part of the show. We had you know Hollis Thomas cooking. It was Thanksgiving, because
Oh,
that's what
nice.
he goes by Tank,
Yep.
and we had an Allen Iverson look-alike who talks like him. You know what I mean? And
Oh,
he was
okay.
talking, and they pour out the cranberry sauce. He goes, "We're talking about the cranberry. We're talking about cranberry, not the turkey, not the stuffing that we love so much. We're talking about
Sauce.
cranberry."
Oh, that's awesome. And Rob, I have never taken the time to do a turducken.
Well, the hard part about a turducken is that it takes forever. Like, and
Exactly.
first off, listen, who the hell is going to shove the turkey or the the chicken into the duck into the turkey? You know what I mean? Like that's what you're supposed to do there.
Yeah.
So no, 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 no. And
Yeah.
actually, that makes everything. The duck makes everything over greasy.
Sure.
Duck is I love
It
duck.
is.
And if duck is very good and very tasty. However, it can only be by itself because it is over greasy than
Yeah.
much more greasy than
It's
chicken.
actually why I'm not a huge fan of duck.
Yeah,
Is it is it's very greasy.
so, but I do love it, but you got to have it done the right way. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's just got to be, and it's got to be prepared by itself.
Yep.
It's just like I never understood the mint jelly with lamb.
Yeah.
I'm not a mint jelly guy. Why would I want to ruin the taste of lamb
Exactly.
with
Yeah.
something minty? I'm not brushing my teeth. I am eating some
Yep.
meats.
I
So
mean, to be fair, it's the same way I don't get steak sauce. Like, I'm not a steak sauce fan. Like,
you,
if you
steak
make
sauce
me,
is great for ground beef.
sure, yeah, I can get with that. But like, if you made your steak so bad you need steak sauce, don't make steak. Like,
Right. You know what steak sauce is good for?
burnt,
Well done steaks,
exactly,
because you
shoe
shouldn't
leather.
be eating it.
Yeah, it's
Because you
shoe
shouldn't be eating
leather. Don't do it. Like, if you like steak well done, stop eating steak.
But some people like ketchup in their eggs.
Yeah, true.
Some steak sauce in eggs is actually really good.
No, I could see
Not
that.
overpowered, not overpowered. You got to
Yeah, yeah.
just put a little bit in there. And I also like steak sauce with my rice. Again, puts a flavor into some rice. I'm a big white rice guy. I love white rice. I
Okay.
could eat that every time. more than mashed potatoes, more than like a butter noodle or something like that, like a pasta, because you always got to have your starch there. So rice is like one of my favorites there. And you add different flavors to that. Most of the time, I flavor it with the meat from left in the pan. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? I just scrape all that stuff in there because
Yeah,
I don't
it
ever
becomes the gravy.
exactly. And I don't ever clean my, iron skillets. Like you never wash them. You're not
Oh,
supposed to wash them.
you got it full on seasoned. I got you.
Well, it's so like it's seasoned, but like if I clean it, you clean it with salt. Here, we're going to teach everybody a little bit what to do. You do not wash, you do not scrub, Brillo, put dish soap into a cast iron skillet. You do not do that. You When you want to clean a cast iron skillet, you put in some salt and you get a paper towel and you scrub it. And that's how you clean a cast iron skillet. And then afterwards, you put a little bit of, you could do vegetable oil, you could do peanut oil. I do olive oil. You put a little bit of olive oil in there and you smear it all around. And now it's good to go for the next time.
Yeah. See, I will clean my pan, but I will still oil my pan.
So, I mean, if you're cleaning, I mean, it's everybody's got their own thing. Some
Yep.
people don't like the excess flavor. I am one of those people that I have to have it. It adds to the meat. That's part of what goes on. So and I just it's like, yeah, that's mine.
No.
So
That's fair. That's fair. I know a lot of people that do it. I don't, but I know a lot of people that do it. And yeah, exactly. Medium rare is the most done I will eat a steak. Usually I will order mine rare.
yeah, walk it through a warm room.
That's right. Knock the horns off,
That's
good to go.
exactly. I want it mooing when it
Pretty
comes to me.
much.
And
Pretty much.
everybody thinks that the red stuff in meat is blood. That is not the case either. It is absolutely not the case. There is no blood in any meat. It is the moisture coming out of the meat and it's colored red because the meat is red. Just so
Yeah.
I mean, just so that
I,
everybody knows, it's just like if you ever watch a hippopotamus sweat, it sweats pink because their skin is pink and it takes the pigment out. It's the same thing with meat. That red stuff is not blood. It is not blood.
yeah, I gotta say I've never watched one sweat. Yeah, 0 days in my life actually.
Yeah, but that's a good trivia question. What color is hippopotamus sweat? Pink.
And thanks for checking in from Hawaii.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we are over coast to coast. Then we got
That's right.
Italy and Hawaii. That is
Exactly.
international almost as
That's
well. It is
that's
not
all
even
the
almost.
coasts. Every coast.
Exactly. From the Amalfi Coast to the Hawaiian coast.
That's right.
We're doing good here. And yes, Daniel Jones found a home. Uh, now I find this to be hysterical, and it's so
He did.
funny.
He did.
It's so funny that he is in Minnesota because now you know, sure shit that what's his face is going to get hurt, and Daniel Jones is going to be
Oh,
stuck being the quarterback,
no question. Yeah,
and
Darnold
that's
gets hurt this week.
exactly. Like I think in a few minutes, actually, like
Yeah,
he's going to
right.
get hurt, putting his shoes on today or something.
Exactly. On his way to the facility, he's going to trip. It's a wrap.
Yeah, he's going to be like they're going to be eating some turkey or something. He's going to swallow a little too fast. He's going to need the Heimlich and break a rib. You know what I mean? It's like it's going to be something weirdo like that that's going to happen.
He's going to have some fluid. They're going to puncture his lung. Something's going to happen.
Right. Yeah, it's non-football related either. It's going to be
Exactly.
like Daniel Jones just came in here and all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, I'm the starter of a team that's going to the playoffs. Let me see how bad I can screw this up." I,
And you're right, Chris. It's
we're
not the same without Madden.
No, it's exactly. It would be awesome if they could figure out a way to have Summerall and Madden do it just by sound bites.
They could. They were on the air so long. There's no way they wouldn't be able to. Now it'd be hard to get a sound bite of Madden without saying "boom, Brett Favre," but
He hits the line and boom, he's gone.
exactly.
But you would be able but they could probably even get I'm sure there was a Barkley somewhere back there. I'm sure there was
Oh, no
like the
question.
names aren't that, far fetched.
I mean, they could do it with AI at this point anyway.
Yeah, that would be really kind of cool. I mean, because I've been watching like CBS has been putting on, or maybe I guess it's Disney that's really doing it. So probably ABC, where they're doing these games where it's like Simpson characters as
Yeah,
the
yeah.
players. You know what I mean? And they're actually showing real
Real time.
time game.
Yep.
It's like they're using these guys, and that's kind of cool to kind of engage the younger audience. I don't think it's necessary, but I mean, I think that the
No,
younger
it's,
audience is
it's kind
engaged
of
already.
no. I mean, it's kind of neat because it helps teach them the game too. So
Yeah, but like doing it for the Super Bowl, I get is one thing. Now doing it for like every game is like,
well, I mean, they always had the Nickelodeon game, right?
right. No,
So I
that's
mean,
Super Bowl typically. Where the guy who gets the
no, it was
touchdown gets slimed.
yeah. Well, it was earlier in the year, right? That's how Trubisky became the MVP, right? The Nickelodeon MVP, whatever.
Oh, gotcha.
So there was always there's been one for a number of years where it's been like the Nickelodeon game during the season. So yeah, now there's a Simpson one that's coming up this week, next week, something like that.
I think it's coming up. Yeah, I think they're doing it on Thursday.
Oh, it's on Thursday. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't remember if they were doing it for Thanksgiving or if they were doing it for Christmas.
Well, I mean, I think it makes sense to do it for Thanksgiving. It like if you have a lot of kids and you want to watch the game, it is a ridiculous way of watching the game. You know what I mean?
But you
So
still get to
it's
see it.
but you still get to watch it. Like, hey, listen, hey, what? I'm making sure the kids. I mean, I'm one of those guys that likes to fall asleep after I eat. I like to fall asleep on the couch, type
Yeah.
thing. I don't care what's going on with the game.
Well, and we
And
have that game coming. We have the Giants and Cowboys. That is the perfect nap time game if I ever saw one.
well, I tell you, what's even funnier about that is that so my ex, the mother of my children, is a Cowboys fan.
Okay.
Now, you would ask, how does that occur? We met during hockey season.
Okay. Okay.
So we were both Flyers fans, and we got pregnant very quick in our relationship. And next thing you know, it was like,
She's
okay.
like, joke's on you, Cowboys.
She's like, I'm a Cowboys fan. I'm like, what? You know what I mean? And then of course
Never
the
happened.
Phillies won the World Series. So I was wrapped up in Philly stuff a lot more than Eagles stuff, because the Eagles weren't that good that year until after the Phillies won the World Series. And that's where I'm a firm believer that winning begets winning. So
Oh,
it
I
with
agree with that. Yeah.
the energy, especially the energy level in Philadelphia, uh, when the team is doing really well, when one team is doing really well, it carries over. And I swear to God, that's why everything was going so great in 2022.
Mhm.
Where literally I went to a ton of championship games. No, that's why she's an ex, Joe.
No,
You know,
he loved sticking it to the Cowboys. Take that how you will.
exactly. But literally, it's I got thrown off track with all that. But in 2022, yeah, it was like I
Yeah.
went to the championship and the World Series. I then like while the NLCS was going on, there was also a Pittsburgh game that we won, and we smoked Pittsburgh. And then I left the Pittsburgh game early because we were up by so much that I went over to the Union match because it was their championship game, Eastern Conference Championship, and we won that. And then literally we lost the the MLS Cup and the World Series on the exact same day,
Oof.
which really stunk because we lost the LAFC, not the Galaxy, the LAFC,
Mhm.
and that was the game where it was like 6-5 was the score of the game.
Oh, so that's how the Cowboy thing happened. You were just trying to feel something after back-to-back losses.
Well, no. This is 2022. I was well
Oh,
past all that.
yeah,
So
I got you.
2008, the Phillies won the World Series. I had a kid, and then the Eagles lost in the conference, NFC Championship game against Arizona, who then kind of got screwed by Pittsburgh.
Kind of a lot, actually. Yeah.
So it was, but the Eagles should have beaten Arizona. They were the better team at the time, and they just didn't get it done.
Mhm.
So, and that was the last big run of Big Red in Philly. Yeah. That was 2008, because 2009 things started to fall apart. 2010 was the dream team that stunk. 2011, it was really, really getting messed up. And then 2012 was, the 4-12 team. You know what I mean? Where it was just, it was literally too many chefs in the kitchen.
Yeah.
$2,000 for a Penn State game is crazy. You want to know what else is crazy, though? These tickets for the Eagles versus the Ravens game.
Yeah.
I got very, very lucky. I got very, very lucky that I was at the Rams game, and I happened to hit the wrong button. And the first tickets I saw were like these amazing seats for expensive. It was like $400 a seat.
I mean,
and I jumped on it. Because the two seats in the row above them were $1,400 each.
Woo.
And they still are. Like, they haven't come down yet. Like, it's been ridiculous.
Well, and they won't.
I'm glad I got the seats I did. I got the two seats, and I'm still looking for two more. But these prices are just ridiculous. It's $300 to get in to the highest row in the stadium. Not even standing room only. You can't get standing room only for cheaper. Yeah, that used to be a real good rivalry.
It did. Yeah, that
was
good.
But the one I remember most, the one I remember most from Thanksgiving was the Miami game against the Cowboys, and the Leon Lett touching the ball and the fumble. They block the kick. Leon Lett comes sliding in, touches the ball. Miami gets the ball, scores a touchdown, beats the Cowboys. That was a great day for Thanksgiving. Long time ago. I mean, that was back at I was in Austin, Texas, I think. I wasn't even in Dallas. I think that was, or Arlington. Was it Arlington? No, they're in Arlington now.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was the old Texas Stadium, is what it was called, right? So, yeah, I tell you, I'm not a big fan of Penn State, so I could care less that they're going that much.
Yeah. Yep, and then you have the Cowboys Giants going for $40.
And they'll come down.
Yeah, they'll give them away.
Yeah, you'll get $25 tickets for that game.
Yeah, which is awesome. I mean, not if you're a fan of either team, but if you just wanted to go to a game, that's your time.
So Mac, I see your question there. There is an interstate rivalry. It's just that because the way it's all set up anymore, there isn't that thing that happens between us. You know what I mean? It's like it's every 4 years now. It used to play all the time. They used to put in those types of rivalries, and now you can't do that anymore. Or they don't do that anymore. So you have to get lucky and maybe get them on that 17th game. So
yeah, well, that's the thing, is that would be how you'd have to get it, right? Like, they'd have to schedule that as your extra game.
Right. And the other part about that makes things really difficult is that, you always are. That's always going to work in some team's favor. Yes. So think about that. Every 4 years, you're going to have the possible 17th game. But because it's on that fourth year, it's always going to be at the opposing team's stadium or your home stadium. So, for instance, 2 years ago, we played Pittsburgh at home. Yeah. Because that was 2022. We spanked them around like anything. Actually, if you look at the record between the Steelers and the Eagles own that. Own them. Yeah, the Eagles have owned them just about their entire lives. I think that they even in Super Bowl years where the Eagles weren't that good, they were still beating Pittsburgh. So it's like so there never really was that rivalry. It was always Yeah, Steelers Cowboys. That
Oh,
was because they were playing Super Bowls and stuff like that. Um, the Steelers in Baltimore always had a rivalry kind of because they were in the same division. You know what I
yeah,
mean? It was like the Colts and then it became the Ravens. Like the Browns and Steelers, that's a rivalry. Cincinnati Bengals used to be good, during the Steelers time, the Steel Curtain. And then, I don't know what the Bengals were called. Probably, you know, cat on a hot tin roof. Who knows? But
what they were, Orange Crush, I think, is what they were.
maybe. So and that was the Bernie Kosar year, not Bernie Kosar, the Boomer Esiason years.
Yeah,
Bernie Kosar was a shame because he couldn't beat Elway.
yeah,
It seemed like we were always watching the AFC Championship game in Cleveland, snowy Cleveland, and Elway would just win those games. So, and then you think about like the Chiefs. The Chiefs were really good in the regular season, but Marty Schottenheimer could not win a playoff game to save his life.
yeah.
Even when he went to Washington, he couldn't do it. His son, much better, but he couldn't do it. He was not very good at it at all. And then you think about it even worse so, like back in the 90s, in the 80s and stuff like that, even though you had some San Francisco and you had whatever, the NFC East was still the teams to beat.
Mhm.
Like the Eagles wound up getting bad breaks all the time, but because hey, you got Washington winning Super Bowls, and then you got the Giants winning Super Bowls, and the Cowboys winning Super Bowls, and we're always going up against them. It was always the Eagles going up against that team and losing,
Yeah,
and they would go off and win the Super Bowl.
you never had the Patriots where everybody else in your division is just garbage.
Right. It was always a fight. So that's why the NFC East has got the most Super Bowls. It's just, and if you go back in time, you'll notice that the NFC East represents in the NFC Championship game. I want to say it's like, you know, 4/7 of the time, maybe even 5/7 of the time. You know what I mean? It's rare that you don't see an NFC East team in
In
the
the mix.
championship game,
Yeah,
or in the final eight at least. You know what I mean? It's never like that Washington year when Washington almost beat Tampa.
yeah,
That was where Heineke came on the scene and did the Superman jump to score the touchdown, and you know Tampa barely got past them,
yeah.
and they were 6-10 or 7-9 that year.
Mm.
so, so yeah, and is anybody going to watch the Detroit game, or do we just think it's going to be a massacre?
I mean, I'm gonna watch it because it's probably weirdly going to be one of the better of the three games, right? Because I mean, what do we got? We got Bears, Lions, Giants, Cowboys, Dolphins, Packers. I mean, yeah, Giants, Cowboys is going to be rough. I'm going to watch all three, but the Lions, Bears, because the Bears defense is good and it's a division game. Division games you never really know, right? Um, Dolphins, Packers could be interesting. I think the Packers win there, but they
Yeah, I mean, see, this is where I feel like that they miss the boat here. Like
who?
Dolphins, Packers, really?
Oh yeah, they could have put a
Chiefs,
better.
Raiders would have been a better Thursday game, and Miami Dolphins, Packers would have been a great Friday game. They should have switched those two. The Chiefs and the Raiders playing on Thanksgiving, I think
Yeah, but
makes sense.
yeah, I mean, on its face, sure, but this Raiders team is so bad, it's not going to be a good game.
Actually, the Chiefs team is not that great, so I think
They're
it will be
not.
a good game.
No, like the Chiefs aren't a good team. They have a good defense, and the offense has been getting better, but the Raiders are just bad. I mean, they don't have a quarterback. They don't really have receivers. I mean, they just they play one side of the ball. Like the defense is solid, but they have no offense to speak of. Like it would have been better to have just a different game overall in that time slot.
Do you
But
find it interesting? I'm going to mention this to you. Do you find it interesting that you guys are favored against the Jets?
No, that makes sense actually.
You're a 2-point favorite against the Jets, and I just don't.
So it has less to do with the Seahawks being good and more to do with the Jets being dysfunctional. So I think just about anybody going into the Jets would be favored at this point because the Jets are finding ways to lose games. So I don't think it's indicative of what Seattle's doing. I think it has everything to do with the fact that that organization in New York is a dumpster fire top to bottom.
So it's not flexed for prime time for, it's actually one of the better games. They didn't move it to the 8 o'clock game because they're trying to showcase the Bills. And when you look at all the games on Sunday, they want a great 1 o'clock game, a great 4:30 game, and a good 8 o'clock game. That's what the NFL kind of works its way, how
Yeah.
it works its magic there. So they needed that 4 o'clock game. Actually, that's going to be the primetime game. That's going to be the game that everybody watches.
Yeah,
That 4:25 game. It's
it's
the
the
most
game.
intriguing.
Yeah, that's the game of the week for sure. And I mean, that's the what do they call that one? They call it the
The Bird Bowl.
no, they give it a name. What I don't know why I'm mind blanking it. It's basically it's kind of like game of the week or
Right.
something like that. But I mean that's what it is. Like hands down, that's going to be the best game of the slate.
So Mac, as I see you saying that it just broke when we broke it at the beginning of the show that Daniel Jones was, and that the Vikings quarterback stepped on a pebble and broke his whole body. So now Daniel Jones is starting at the
That's
Vikings for the Vikings this week.
We put some bad karma out in the world. Darnold's getting hurt before we get off the air today.
Yeah. Darnold, like he was eating a gummy bear and it got lodged in his throat, and they needed to give him the Heimlich and broke like 3 of his ribs, and it was a terrible thing. Daniel Jones is the new starter over there, and we're going to watch how he's able to ruin 2 franchises in 1 year.
Doing work. Everyone has to have a skill, right? His is tanking franchises.
Exactly. Oh, we got Delco Dom in the house. Delco Dom is our director here. Matty Gibbs over here is our director of Hoagie Heights. So
okay.
I was giving the shout out to Hoagie Heights a little earlier there, Matty. So we're going to have a whole bunch of people go and find the clip of the new updated one. But, Kylie Kelsey announced that she was pregnant, 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
We announced it first. If you go back to Hoagie Heights, the original Hoagie Heights, we were the ones that broke the news that she was pregnant with her 4th child. And we showed exactly what it was that Jason Kelsey was doing that day. He was coming. He came and grabbed.
I feel like that's made for a different website.
Well, no, he came. Well, no, he went and grabbed some milk and had to stop at the bar for a beer, garage beer, by the way. And he stopped for 2 garage beers, drank them down really quickly, and was like, yeah, I got to get back home now because, here comes all of the things that you don't like about your woman when she's pregnant because she's just a big pain.
Fair enough.
I'm sure that resonates very well with the women that watch our show.
Yeah. Way to try and bring more of that viewership in.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, because both of them were behind you at the bar that day, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So, but definitely, we have, Geraldine Jones. Geraldine Jones was caught trying to kill Thick Sirianni. That was a big one. That was a big one. You know what I mean? So you got to go look it up. Go to Dolan's Bar on Facebook, and you'll find it.
Nice.
Somebody will share it. I'm sure I'll share it later too, so you can find it on my Facebook.
I mean, Rob, I think Jefferson's going to like this fine because if Darnold does actually get hurt, they didn't have a great backup, right?
Who was
McCarthy's
their
hurt.
backup?
Yeah, no, exactly. Like there was somebody on the roster. I don't know who it was though, but but I mean,
Yeah,
it's you got to have somebody back there. Daniel Jones can throw the ball, so
yeah. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world to have him there, in Minnesota. It is what it is. I don't think it's going to be a real big deal whatsoever. It's like it's going to be meh. You know what I mean?
oh
Unless he does really get hurt. Like I said, we're
yeah,
making jokes over here, but it's not. I'm not wishing Darnold to get hurt, uh,
no,
and
and
I
it's not
think
like it.
neither is any Vikings fan.
No, definitely not. And it's not like it moves the needle, right? Like
Right.
he's not great. That's why he's not a starter anymore. You know?
Yeah, like if the Giants were any bit worthwhile, you could see maybe another NFC team grabbing him just to be able to say, "Hey, listen, what do we need to know about the Giants to be able to get past this win?" Truth of the matter is, we don't need to know nothing because they stink. Pu.
Exactly.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I fully expect that this is a meh. We'll wonder where he goes next year. Like that's
Yeah.
this is he's going to be practicing holding a clipboard. He's got to look his best there because somebody is going to say, "Hey, listen, I would pay $20.50 for him to hold a clipboard for me."
Pretty much. Well, I mean, he said that he was gonna like he was only gonna go to a contender, right? Which is why he turned down entertaining the Raiders job at all. So I thought maybe the Niners would have picked him up, right? Because Purdy's hurt, not really known when he's coming back, and their backup played last week with a broken finger, so not ideal, right? And you can pick up Jones for free. I thought that might come through. Obviously, the Vikings didn't have a real backup in case Darnold gets hurt, so that one made sense. But yeah, I mean, Jones made it clear, unless you were a contender, he was content with not playing football.
I think he wanted to go to Philadelphia, to be honest.
I
I
mean,
mean,
Philly could have worked too,
because we don't really have a real backup either.
but
No,
you're not sold on the Pickett deal.
no, no. In fact, if yeah, if there's two people now, there's three people on this team that would ultimately affect this team over too much. Now, if they went down, first would be now Saquon Barkley. If he gets hurt, the season is going to dramatically change.
Mhm.
AJ Brown, if he gets hurt, it's going to dramatically change. And we found that out because it's like when he goes down, it's a big deal. When Devontae Smith goes down, not as big of a deal.
Yeah.
So, because I think that was where they picked up, that was the purpose of picking up what's his face from Washington,
Mhm.
Dotson.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so because Dotson can be the number two, and Dotson's got
Sure.
good enough hands, and the fact that he hasn't played a lot makes me believe that he's going to be fresher down the stretch, which is kind of nice that way.
No, I'm with
Um,
you. And Joe, you guys had the opportunity to do the funniest thing ever, and you just didn't. You could have got him for nothing. You could have played him this week to beat the Giants. I think that would have been hilarious, but you didn't pull the trigger. I'm disappointed in your franchise yet again,
yes, yes,
because it would have been really funny if you would have brought him in, gave him the start just for shits and giggles, because you're not going anywhere anyway. But the rest of the team is good enough to beat the Giants regardless, and that would have been hilarious.
maybe they're good enough to beat the Giants. I mean, they did happen to beat Washington. However, there
Washington's sliding
is Washington though is like I that's the one of the rivalries that's always been weird to me. Like when the Cowboys have been great, Washington could go in there, and even Washington being like 2-12 could go in there and beat them.
though. Yeah.
And then the other way around, like at 1-15, the 1-15 Cowboys beat the Redskins one time.
No. I mean, it absolutely happens. It absolutely happens. And that's why you got to be, cautious when you're betting on games. And you can do that right alongside us here on Coast to Coast. You use the QR code on the screen, 125% of your first three deposits. And there is a 10% 10% bet guarantee in case you decide to bet on a divisional game and lose. Restrictions do apply, but hit that QR code, bet right alongside us here. And if you're in the Pacific Northwest, you can get a 5-day pass at any of the 3 True Fusion locations, whether it's Bellevue, Ballard, or University Village. Pilates boot camp, yoga, bar. Hit up any of those. Find your edge at True Fusion Gym.
I'm about to hit up the bar myself.
Hey, man, I'm with you.
It's like this is so for everybody out there who's not, in America, in the United States. Obviously, Joe is not going to be celebrating Thanksgiving tomorrow. In Italy, they probably are like, what? Like,
Yeah. They move right on to Christmas.
Right. It's like, well, they take vacations anytime they want to over in Italy.
Well, that's true.
At like 1:30 in the afternoon, and you're like on the train or something, they decide that they're going to go on strike for about 30 minutes. And you have to be somewhere really quickly. Guess what? No, you don't, because you ain't getting there.
Hey, but at the same time, if you're late and you're like, oh yeah, this is what happened, people will be like, fair enough.
Yes, that is real. That is a real Jason Kelce Chunky Campbell's. They have a couple of them out there. Yes.
Yep.
So Roberts watched it. He watched Hoagie Heights. There you go. There you know that he saw it because he brought something up there. Yeah, you're ruining it for everybody else. That's a spoiler now. There is chunky soup in this video.
and yeah, we know you don't. That's a U.S. thing.
Exactly. So, and listen, they celebrate when their soccer team wins. Except Joe, because Joe's not a fan of soccer.
But. Yeah, which, I get that. Hey. When the Sounders have won, I'm like, yay, Sounders. And then I just keep it pushing.
So interestingly enough, I do have some friends up there that are really big into the Sounders. So,
okay.
Somebody I actually served in the military with, I still, when I go up there, Lee, you met Lee, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So he's a big Sounder. Him and his wife are big Sounders fans.
Okay.
So it's like, it's one of those things where when they got rid of basketball up there, soccer took over.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's true. That's true. And don't get me wrong. Like if I got my media credentials for it, I would cover it. I wouldn't enjoy it, but I'd cover it.
Well, the good thing about soccer is that it's 2 hours
have Black
long.
Friday.
That's it. It's 2 hours long, and that's it. You know what I mean? It's like you're not waiting for the game. Oh, it's gone into extra innings. Oh, it's moving too slow. You may not like what they're doing, and you got to think about it this way. American football was based off of soccer.
Yeah, I mean, it was a hybrid of things. So, yeah.
Fullbacks, halfbacks, linemen.
Yep.
So obviously there's no goalie.
No.
Goalie would be called the quarterback.
Yeah, there were some rugby influences, and
right. So, yeah. But anyways, that's kind of what happens here. And of course, there's no other sports that really happens on Thanksgiving, which is amazing to me. I was watching some of the NCAA basketball last night.
Okay.
Where you watched UConn, who's number 2 in the country. They've lost 2 games now on last-second shots. Back-to-back losses on literally last-second shots against good teams. Both of those teams were undefeated. I think that's.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah, but I mean, it's talk about funny. Like they said it was the first time ever that a top 3 team or maybe top 5 team has lost back-to-back games on game-winning shots.
That's crazy. I mean, that's crazy in a couple of ways. The fact that it's never happened is crazy when you think of the amount of basketball that's been played.
Right. So, I mean, it is what it is. Like I said, it's not basketball right now in college doesn't mean anything. That's why they got to have these tournaments. That's why the NBA said, "Oh, let's have our own tournaments like this." Like, I feel like that the
I
NBA
think
is
I think
doing
that
it
had
wrong.
more to do with trying to get players to play. Like I think
I
that was fight some of the load management.
I think personally, I believe that they should do this, but they should have it like All-Star Week, where instead of having All-Star games, you have the tournament, you bring every team to one spot. And you have like an extravaganza there, like you set up as NBA World, where where some of the players are there and you get their meet and greets and stuff like that. Like you could set it up properly where the NBA takes over one whole entire hotel and every other hotel. Like you could do it in, it would have to be done in like an area that has a um, dome because you want to be able to have everybody there at these games. You make those tickets kind of affordable. You could do them at like 40, $50, and go there and it's, game after game. It's like bang, 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 bang. And you just rotate people in and out of there. I think that would be a really novel way of doing this and a really cool way of going about it. Instead of having games that are 200 to 180,
Yeah,
where
which
nobody
is
cares
ridiculous.
anymore.
Yeah, no, it was ridiculous.
So
If
it's
there's
like,
400 points in a game, like what are we doing? Clearly not playing defense, but
right, Joe, you can watch the Rockets and the Sixers. You could tell me how much the Rockets are going to win by.
yeah, pretty much, pretty much.
Yeah, because the Sixers stink out loud, badly. And
And
they in fact, the Sixers are kind of like your Cowboys. PU.
and the fact that you have Black Friday makes sense because you know we drive the commercialism. So everybody has Black Friday because we have deals and we sell stuff everywhere.
I tell you what, Joe. What I do need from you though is we have to communicate a little bit because I need some limoncello, and we'll figure out a way for you to ship that over here nicely so that it makes it and that I can have some limoncello because I'm out. I'm out of limoncello, and the best place where limoncello comes from is Italy. So I
There,
don't know how
there's
close
a
you are to Sorrento, but
there's a small non-zero chance that might hit up Italy next year. So if I do, I'll we'll have to grab a drink if I end up there.
yes, because I tell you, if you do it, like I've been to Italy once.
Mhm.
Um, and obviously it's like you go there for a week and it's not
Oh,
enough time.
of course.
I I tell you, I went to Rome and there's only so much that I can do at like sightseeing stuff like that. Like, oh look ruins, oh look ruins, oh look Pantheon, oh blah, blah. You know what I mean? Whatever, what have you. Uh,
Sure.
when I went to Pompeii though, like I being a Mason, and
Yeah.
growing up in masonry, that is I couldn't spend enough time there. Like I would become like if I had a previous life.
Mhm.
And maybe that's why, like, maybe I happened to be there and I finally got reincarnated again. You know what I mean? Because it was
Yeah.
like it spoke to me so much. Like it was like I'm here for 6 hours and still not enough. And like I said, I saw the Colosseum. I saw all the pillars of Rome and but I was like, wow, this is just looking at how they did things back then and how civilized that city was for how old it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well, that's
yeah,
like, like I'm not a religious person, right? Do I want to go and check out some of the amazing architecture of the churches in Europe? Absolutely. Right? I mean,
100%.
they're fantastic. Just
Yeah.
buildings that are complete pieces of art. Like I'm in.
Yes. I tell you, when I went to Vienna, like so they got the three cities. You got Budapest, which is Buda and Pest. It's actually two
Yep.
cities mixed up as one. No, not many people know that actually. In Hungary, and then we went to Vienna. I haven't gone to Prague yet, but the difference between Budapest and Vienna was amazing. Just like you wonder, like how did they build these churches. Like, how did they do it? It's the colors on the slates. Like, there's not a good way to change any of those slates. If one of those slates break, like, I don't know how you're doing it. Like, you got to bring a crane in, and there ain't no space for cranes to get in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like
I
you're
mean,
doing it via helicopter, maybe.
There's a reason a lot of people died making those buildings.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, but such amazing stuff. And like even when I went to Poland, like when I went to Dansk, um, like that's a port city, and it's like just amazingly beautiful. Like all the colors that it is for all these houses and such. It's just it's overwhelming. Um, if you have not, for anybody listening here, I know we're a sports show, but if you haven't had a chance to go to Europe, pick like the cities like that you would want to hit, and there's usually a train that goes and takes you to all of them.
Yeah,
So
well, and of course they made it really easy to get around, right? So I mean, you don't have to show your passport for each thing. Like you can move around Europe easily.
right. It was funny because I was in Budapest for arm wrestling world championships, and when we went to Vienna, the driver's like, "Listen, don't talk to these guys because we're going through and they're checking out all our passports." And I said, "Of course, I can't keep my mouth shut," so I'm like, "We're arm wrestling champions, yeah!" He did it like the guy looks at me, he looks at the driver, he looks back at me, and just starts laughing, lets us go. You know what I
Nice.
mean? So it was just, but it was like it was supposed to be so serious. Like we're sitting there, like so that nobody like we're not doing anything wrong. And I was like, no way, these guys got to be funny because I don't know if they even understood what I said. You know what I mean? It was just, but it was
I mean,
funny.
there's a good chance they didn't.
Probably not. No, I haven't been to Austria very much. You know what I mean? Except, well, it's not even in Austria. That is it. Vienna is in Austria. Prague, yeah, because Prague is in Czech Republic.
I mean, we all we all have areas around where we live that's a dump. So
So okay, so Palermo, Sicily is, well, you got to take a boat to get anywhere, right? Like you have to go to take a boat to get to the main island, right? The main boot. If you're in Sicily,
Yeah.
I don't know. They don't have a bridge, or do they? I wouldn't know this because I've never been to Sicily. So
yeah, like I've actually never been to Europe, so that is that's on my list.
and another place that's on my list that I definitely want to do is Iceland.
I do absolutely want to do that.
I want to do. I'm not a golfer, and I could care less, but I want to do a midnight tea time.
Sure.
Where I'm golfing. I start golfing at midnight.
Yeah. No, for me, I want to go because I want to bring all my camera gear. I want to do the Aurora there.
Yeah, well, the Aurora, and I also want to do the volcanoes. I want to do the volcano walk.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Like those are things that, and then I keep watching. Every once in a while, it shows up on my feed, and it showed up again the other day. Getting that Sommerströmming fish. I want to watch somebody eat that thing.
Okay.
You know that fish that's like the worst smelling fish in the world?
I'm not familiar with that one, but it sounds fine.
Yeah, Sommerströmming. It's like you put it up there, and it's like stinkiest edible fish in the world, and it'll come up. It's like this fermented fish that stinks so bad that like people, like, you try to eat it and they're like gagging already that they can't.
Yeah, like I'm already tapping out. Like it could be the best tasting thing, but like if it's
so funny. No, it doesn't taste. It tastes like ass too. I just want to watch people watch it because people get like sick, throwing up, and like they just can't handle it.
Just why then? Like
because it's funny. Because it's funny that they're making themselves go through this.
No. That, I mean, if you're them, like, I don't know what. Like, why would you do this to yourself?
It's like I would never do a one chip challenge, but I love watching other people do it because it's funny as hell. You're going to be an asshole, and
I like spicy stuff. But if it
have you done the one chip challenge?
No, I haven't. But I'd probably do it. But
I tell you what, I wanted to have you do it on the show.
All right.
That's going to be a day. We will do that live on the show. I bet you everybody shows up for that one.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because and we're going to have to go big where we'd have to have
zoomed in for sure. Yeah.
Exactly. Because
no, I'm in. Yeah, like that sounds hilarious. Why not? But as far
That
as
is
eating
hilarious.
something that tastes like feet, I'm out. Like,
But no, just that I know this doesn't taste like feet. It tastes like
yeah, it's a
fish
fireball.
that's been out in the sun for 18 days too long.
Yeah, no, like I want no part of any of that.
No, I don't want any part of it either. But I want to watch somebody else do it.
No, no, no. That's fair. That's fair.
Limburger cheese smells bad too, but it's edible. Like I don't know. I don't know why they serve this stuff. Like I don't know why. Like you open the can, and it's like, bleh, like you're already throwing up because
Yeah, see,
it's so pungent.
need no part of that. Like
Serve
even
that.
if I'm
Serve
watching
that
it,
at Thanksgiving dinner.
even if I'm watching it, I want to watch it from like the next room that has glass in between.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But I also I want to see the guy next to him who eats it on a regular, and just be
Yeah,
like looking
right.
at this dude and be like, meh. Yeah, just like putting it to his mouth and eating it because he's so used to it. Like that's funny. That's funny. That is comedy there. So there we
Uh,
go. That's what we'll do. We'll send down the Summer Strawman to Jay and watch
yes,
Jay do that while you do
the hot.
the one chip challenge.
Sure, sure. Yeah. So might as well wrap it up here on a actual sports related thing. Rob wants to know what the plan is for Graham being out.
So the Eagles did grab. So there was a defensive end that was dropped by the uh, Carolina Panthers. He had 3 sacks, which led the Panthers. He had the most tackles, which led the Panthers. Blah blah blah, and they dropped him because he didn't want to play for the team anymore. And the Eagles picked him up. So I can't say that he's going to be the answer, but he's going to be the start. Detroit last night at the same time also dropped a defensive end. I don't know but I got to imagine like the moment that they dropped him, that I would have picked him up anyways for our practice squad, or even put him on the squad as somebody who could rotate in. Because Graham was having one of the best nights of his career. So, or nights, but
No,
season
yeah,
of
season
his
two.
career. And it's a shame because I mean he was having a great day.
Yeah,
He had like 2 sacks, three tackles behind the line. Like it
yep.
was just a great day, and then he got that weirdo chip, and it was,
Yeah, it didn't even look that bad.
yeah, he knew it right away. He said it detached, and
Yep.
that there he does a radio show on the day after, and he finally started to like he was being very positive and everything, but it finally got to him. He get caught up and it was like, like it's man, I was like, it's we're on something special here, and we're still on the run, and I'm still going to be a part of it. So don't think that because I'm out, I got to stand in my special side, but you're going to hear me. You're
Yeah,
going to hear,
yeah.
because that's what I do. I talk a lot. So it's, I actually, on the 4th of December, I actually have an event with him. So it's going to be
Oh, cool.
cool to actually see him and spend a little bit of time. Like I said, I have him all over my phone because we did a commercial together. So, and he was taking pictures eating a hoagie with my phone. So, which was awesome. But it's unfortunate that that he's hurt. But
Yeah,
we'll see. We'll see if I think he comes back next year. I mean, he was already
yeah,
talking about coming back for one more
yeah.
season. That this was not as going to be his last. That may change now, being at
Yeah, it depends
home.
on how rehab goes, right?
But yeah, I'm upset for him and happy for him at the same time. You know what I mean? Like I think that I think he's still going to be very uh, coaching. He's going to learn what it's like to coach. And I think that that's where his calling is going to be after football.
Switch
So,
over to the coaching realm. I can see
but
that. I
I
can
mean,
see.
he could be in the public eye because he's got that personality and he does have the gift to gab and he is a Super Bowl champion. And like you put
That
all those
helps.
three together, and that really does fit you into any of the letters: ABC, CBS, NBC, ESPN. You know what I mean? They're
It'll get
going
your
to,
foot in the
yeah.
door. Like that'll be the biggest thing. You get your foot in the door. Like if you wanted to do it, those three things together give you the opportunity. Now you may suck at it, who knows, but you'll get the opportunity.
Right. So, but it's a shame. It is a shame, and I wish him all the best, and I'll get to tell him personally.
Oh yeah.
So, Friday, we're going to have somebody come in just because I know we're closing up here. Friday, we're going to have somebody come in. We're going to be talking mostly about the previous games and Eagles, Ravens.
Ravens. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
no, that'll be, that's going to be fun. Friday's going to be a good show. If you've been watching on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. Helps us bring our content to you. If you're watching on Roku, stay tuned for the next hour. And of course, if we
happy
don't
Thanksgiving,
tomorrow,
everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
We will not be here tomorrow, so
Yeah.
don't look for us.
Yep.
We will not be airing anything.
Yep.
So,
Exactly.
it'll be a
Exactly.
big
If you're on Roku, it'll be a rerun. Enjoy the rerun. It'll probably be this nonsense right here. So if you missed it, check it out.
Happy Thanksgiving.
That's right. Take it easy, everybody.
Take care, guys.
Introducing National Streaming Sports, live and on-demand sports talk programming that you can access 24/7. For the premier sports talk experience, tap into our Roku channel. Start your mornings with Mac and Jack covering all the weekend sports action. Then pour a cup and enjoy all the sports you can drink on the Coffee and Sports podcast. At midday, talk sports from east to west on the Coast to Coast podcast. Followed at night by some hot girl talk with Prim and Proper Sports featuring Sonia Pearson. Talk boxing on the Gloved Fist. Yankee fans tune in for Start Spreading the News. And there's more on the College Sports Huddle and Sports Scope with Robert Butler. There are 20 podcasts in all and 70 weekly shows giving us a 3.4-star viewer rating. To find us on Roku TV, search for National Streaming Sports on the Roku search bar. Click on the logo and you're in. National Streaming